I wanted to try and go ahead and give an explanation for what I think of this mythicist case versus the historical Jesus, and why it is I think it's important to go ahead and eliminate historical Jesus off the bat and then talk about him later. Ultimately the reason for my objection to historical Jesus is that most scholars use a historical Jesus in order to date their texts. So, in other words, if there was a historical Jesus, assumably there's a certain pattern that you should be able to detect in the texts following his death, and that's all fine and good, except that the Gospels, for example, 99% of the Gospels looks like it's fiction. So why would we assume that it was based on a human being? You know, if everything about this guy was not real, you know, why would we assume that it was based on him at all? And going back to the other theologies, the other things that were happening in that first and second century with the Sethians, the people that followed Seth, the people that followed Cain or Adam or John the Baptist or Enoch or Elijah, all these other figures, all of them thought that these figures were coming back as some sort of a Messiah or the Logos or any of that stuff. So it all points to something much bigger going on in the first and second century than this idea that there was just a guy. There seems to be something much bigger going on, particularly between the years of 59 and 71, where you have the two eclipses and the sack of Jerusalem. And it looks to me that Jesus, if there was a real Jesus back there, he has nothing to do with the texts. He was just kind of inserted later. And that other people had different ideas of who he was. So I think it's very unhelpful to begin with a historical Jesus. Very unhelpful, because the texts don't really say anything about him. And even in the later texts, assumably later texts, like if we're talking about the Gospel of Peter or some of the other Gospels like Thomas or perhaps even Barnabas or Mary, those texts, there's nothing extraordinarily different about most of those texts. They could just as easily be earlier than, say, the Synoptic Gospels. You know, so why is it that we would go ahead and just grant that to Christianity, grant that there was a real guy, and grant their dates? I see no point in that, and to me, it's kind of an experiment in the evolution of the brain. What it was for humans, what did humans think 2,000 years ago, and why did they think that? Anyhow, that's all I got for you today, and that's why I kind of pitch historical Jesus over the side for starting out. I think there's a possibility there could be a actual human being back there, but the texts are not based on him. So the texts come from something else, and Jesus was inserted just as Seth, Cain, Adam, Enoch, Elijah, John the Baptist, all these other theologies did exactly the same thing. So yeah, that's what I got for now. I'll be back soon. Talk to you later. Bye.